Welcome to Two Mediums and a Large. Today, we have a special guest on with us. Her name is Julie Bassett. She is a shamanic energy healer, an animal communicator, and a medium. Today, we are excited to hear all things about Julie, but we also have Heather and Robbi with us as usual. So, without further ado, welcome, Julie.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Welcome. We're so excited to hear about everything, how you started. Do you want to tell us how did your journey begin?
Well, I've always had a relationship with animals. I had a dog when I was growing up that basically I considered my sister because I was an only child. But like a lot of people, I shut off my gifts because, oh, it's all in your imagination. So sure, I shut it off because when I did it, people would look at me like I had two heads. But it wasn't until after I had back surgery, and then 2 weeks after that, had a pulmonary embolism and decided I didn't want to go back to the stressful environment of corporate anymore. So I started taking classes while I was on short term disability. And one of those was an animal communication class where where she also taught the healing for animals. And I thought, how great would that be? And so I started remembering. Um, I took some other classes too, like a class in to be a health coach and one for a transformational coach. Um, but those didn't stick as well as animal communication. And so I just started communicating with animals. Took the class. I practiced and practiced and practiced. Um, and, because I wanted to become good at it. I wanted to be
Yeah.
able to leave my job um, and be able to do this full time. Well, I did end up going back to work, and one thing or another happened, and I ended up in South Carolina. I did open up um, while I was on short-term disability, I did open up a business, and I was let go by my corporate office. So it's like, okay, now's the time to do it. And so I really enjoy connecting with the animals, being a medium, helping with end of life decisions, and helping to heal the animals that are having physical or behavioral issues. Um, and then I got involved in the shamanic piece because I watched these 1 hour webinars, and I had full body chills. I had already been to a shamanic healer the year after I had my back surgery and the pulmonary embolism because that was my year for healing. And that was life changing for me. But when I saw this webinar, I got full body chills and I knew that was the path for me. So I went ahead and signed up for the course. And it was like a 6 month intensive course. I loved it. I've been doing it ever since. And I keep um, taking more classes in the shamanism and animal communication because, I've taken from Lynn McKenzie, Val Hart, um, Trisha Carr, Kara Gubbins. There's a whole host of them that I've taken from because you learn something new with everyone. And most of those only taught the um, communication piece, but every once in a while there was one that taught the healing, and that's where I really love doing. And I've got a protocol I go through, but I have a whole lot of tools at my disposal if the animal needs a cord cut or because I've got my shamanic tools and I've also have my other energy tools that I can use.
Yeah, really interesting story. It sounds like, I know you did some corporate stuff, but going back into some of the other things you were starting to do on your journey to get started, it sounds like you've always been somewhat of a healer in trying to fall into that category of helping. And I know you are so, so gifted firsthand. You know, I've gotten to work with you, and you are absolutely amazing at what you do. So I'm sure a lot of people appreciate you going down this path. Yeah,
Well, I contributed all to my guides. I'm just the vessel.
right. They are the best mentors.
I think it's interesting though, Julie, that you mentioned at the beginning because we've touched on this on several episodes of the podcast where we're talking about it's all in your imagination, where people tell you it's all in your imagination, so you give up on your gifts and you step away. And I think it's so great that you figured out earlier, and I think a lot of people do, that this is exactly what you wanted to do. Um, Especially on the animal side. I've known a couple of animal communicators in my past here, and I can tell you, you are probably the best communicator I've ever come across. You know, um, you've done work for me and my little jerk. I mean, my little bubby, Percy, and you've done some. It's so interesting. Just to tell you guys, she picked up once he licks on his paws quite a bit. She picked up that he had a little cut between his two toes, and she was absolutely right. I went and fixed it, and he's much better. He's not doing that, but it's really cool how powerful you are, and the things that you do. One question that I have for you is, do you take offense? I don't know why you would, but do you ever take offense with people calling you like a pet psychic? Do you think that that is too general, or would you rather be called an animal communicator? Because I know people that sometimes don't even know what an animal communicator is, but you say pet psychic, like, oh yeah, I want to talk to them. So does that type of title do anything to you?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Um, Either way gets the message across. And if people don't understand an animal communicator, but pet psychic rings a bell in their head, it's like, fine, call me a pet psychic. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Heather, I think you had a question you wanted to ask, right?
I did. I was curious about this morning. I thought, what's a question that I can ask that I feel like most people would want to know the answer to? And what I came up with was, if you're ever in a reading, do pets ever communicate a pet peeve of their owners to you?
Well, I've got a story for that. There was a woman one time that I was doing some live readings, and she said, "Why is it that my cat always bites me when I sing?"
Mhm.
And the cat said, "Because she can't sing.
Ah,
I don't like her singing. It hurts my ears." And so I had to kind of um,
find a nice way to
try
put
and
it.
tell her in a nice way that her cat didn't like her singing. And when when the cat said that, I just started cracking up. And here this was you know, a live Facebook session, and here it's like I couldn't stop laughing, and it was, and I finally was able to tell her that, well, maybe your singing is a little too loud for the cat. um, but
Sounds
yeah,
like Cat would
that,
say.
I had to come up with on the fly something to say to her so she didn't feel bad about her singing, but it also um, accurately represented what the cat's issue was.
Yeah, leave it to a cat to be so honest, right? It's always the
Dog would
dead
never,
cats,
right? A
right?
dog would never. They're just totally
Which,
kidding.
which I think kind of leads me into another question I'm kind of curious about. Is there a favorite species that you like communicating with better? And along with that, what is I guess strangest wouldn't be the word, but what is the most outrageous pet that you've ever read for? Like a giraffe or, whatever. What's your favorite and what's the most outrageous you've ever read?
Love it.
Um, well, let me start with the second one first. I communicated with a bearded dragon, and I've also communicated with Coco the chimpanzee. Or he
Oh,
wasn't a chimpanzee, but he was, an ape species.
Mhm.
But he was famous for talking
Yeah.
and had such a large vocabulary. That was more of a mediumship session because he had already passed. And
Wow.
that was another issue where um, he was in a facility before, and they had asked me something about, because there's a whole group of them when I was communicating with Coco. And in the previous facility, I, he was happy there except for, and he liked everyone there except for Stephanie or whoever the person was. And the people go, oh.
So
So,
you're able to give evidence with that.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Because I guess she wasn't as caring as the others. I'm not exactly sure. And what was your first question?
Do you have a favorite species to communicate with, like dog, cat, bird, does it matter really?
It doesn't really matter. I think sometimes the horses are a little more interesting because I don't communicate with them enough. But I had one that was previously a dog and saw the show Mr. Ed and was singing the theme song to Mr. Ed. You know, a horse is a horse, of course, of course. And please pardon my singing. Um, and he decided he wanted to come back as a horse. Well, his
That's
little buddy
cool.
wanted to come back as a dog, but they were still together in this lifetime. But the dog passed because horses live a lot longer than dogs. And so he was mourning the loss of his friend.
Oh,
So, but I thought that was kind of cool that because he heard that song and that kind of stuck in his head, he wanted to come back as a horse because he thought horses were really cool.
I agree.
I think you touched on something there too that I'd like for you to explain a little bit more. For people out there that, because I know I've come a lot of people that say, animals don't have feelings or animals can't think, and I know in your line of work, you absolutely blow that out of the water and say, yeah, they do feel, they do. What would you say to people that say, they're just animals, they have no feelings?
They are sentient beings just as we are. They feel, they have souls. They go through trauma just like we do. I've dealt with many animals that have PTSD from a previous life
Mhm.
and have been able to help them.
On
Uh,
Heather. Oh,
Sorry, Julie, I didn't
Um,
mean to distract you. I loved your answer because I feel the exact same way. I look at them as they're sentient beings. How could you not think that they have feelings?
yeah, and
right.
like there's dogs that will stay by the graveside of their past owner when they realize that they're dead.
Mhm.
And how can you say that that dog isn't mourning the loss of
Yeah.
their guardian?
yeah. Have you heard those stories about, how elephants they feel like as deeply as humans. Like elephants are very emotional animals, and same, I think it's with the orcas
Yeah.
as well, right? They carry a lot of like emotional pain if something happens to their offspring. Um, so yeah, I mean, we can't say that they don't have feelings.
And a
Yeah.
whole
And,
group of them will mourn like the death of a baby.
yeah, I've seen
They
that.
have their
You know,
own like rituals that they go through.
Yeah.
yeah.
How's that not showing feelings?
Yeah. I saw a story not too long ago about it, an elephant. I think it was somewhere in Africa that there was a poacher or something that killed one of her babies or took one of her babies, and she stalked him. I mean, and even enough to where when he died, she like ransacked the place where this funeral was going on. I mean, this elephant, I would look it up, but we don't have time right now. But this elephant remembered exactly who it was, what he did, and took her revenge out on him. I thought it
Yeah.
was a very interesting um kind of case study in how intelligent elephants are, and
Yeah.
their memory is just amazing, I think. So,
Crows
anybody
too.
that says animals don't have it are
Crows,
crazy, I think.
crows will remember
Crows
you.
too. Crows can hold a grudge, and they remember the if you do something nice like save them or something like that, they will bring you gifts. And if you do something that they don't agree with or hurt one of them, they will stalk you too.
You want to know what my cat did? I brought him to the vet. He had an issue going on with his bladder. And then, you know how he repaid me later that night? He brought a bird into my bedroom and placed it right on the
Oh,
ground in my room. I was so upset. I was like, please, no gifts. Like, I can't pick up a bird like that, you know? Like, it's just, I can't do it.
but he
Um,
loved you.
he loved
Yeah.
me, right?
So Julie,
Julie,
I'd like to,
oh, you go.
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
I just had a question that I was thinking about for the last little while. I don't want to forget about it. When
Ask it.
you are communicating with animals, are you, is it all telepathic or are they showing you vision and stuff as well, the same as like how a normal mediumship reading would go?
I get all the clairs through the animals. They will
Oh,
give me tastes. Like if there's something that's making them sick, I can feel it in my body. If because most people, when they think of telepathy, they think just showing images back and forth, and it's not just showing images.
okay.
I've gotten tastes in my mouth when they've had something that tastes bad. I've had like get the nausea. I've gotten smells when something smells bad.
Okay.
Um, I sometimes I just know, and sometimes we do share images back and forth. But with animals, they can give you however you receive psychic information. They can help. They can correspond with you that way, communicate with you that way.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Answers a lot for me.
That's really cool. Yeah. I know that we discussed one time, Julie, and I kind of know since in some of my studies. But the animals, dogs specifically, I know have more or different chakras than humans do. Would you mind explaining to us the different chakras that they have than humans do and what they're used for?
Okay. Um, well, they have the pretty much the same seven that we do inside our bodies: the root chakra, um, the sacral, which is actually the sexual progression chakra, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the brow chakra, which is the third eye chakra, and then the crown. But in addition to that, they have a brachial chakra. The brachial chakra is kind of oversees all the other chakras and is also responsible for the human animal bond. So if you aren't bonding with your animal, chances are the brachial chakra is out of alignment. The other one, you know how animals can see better than us, feel better than us, smell better than us. It's because they have a sensing chakra and we don't. What that does is it helps filter experiences through their brain. And if it's out of alignment, animals can overreact or underreact to events, circumstances, noises, people, training cues.
Wow.
Um, and so if a lot of times with like if they're overreactive to noises or barking too much, I can balance the sensing chakra and that will help them.
Interesting. I never knew any of that.
No, me
Very
neither.
cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now,
Julie, I wanted to ask you, is there an animal on your like wish list for communication? Like if you could pick one animal in the entire world, what would it be?
oh gosh, I want to talk to them all. Um,
Be a lion.
Hmm.
let's see. What animal would I want to talk to?
Koala.
That's a tough question. Huh?
Oh,
Is that
wow.
koala would be mine. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ooh. Let's see.
Putting a lot of thought into this one.
That is a tough one. Oh, the other ones I've talked to are rats.
Oh,
Interesting.
I got some rats to leave a person's house one time. They were in the attic. I got them to leave.
okay.
Pretty cool.
How realistic is Dr. Dolittle? Because that when you said you talked to rats, that's the thought I just got of that movie.
I love
So
it.
There are some great animal communicators that can basically talk to any animal.
amazing.
What
You know
about
what? I think it's great that you get the evidence with it too, so that really puts people's minds at ease. Like I know when you connected with my kitty that passed to spirit, I knew that you were with her because of the evidence that came through with it. And I know that some people can be like, oh, for anything can sound generic, but you were specific. You brought through her manner of passing to like the exact organ and what was going on. And so, yeah, the kitten passed, you know, trigger word people from congenital kidney failure. So something that she was born with, and she had reached 5 months old, and she started getting really ill. This happened honestly just a few months ago, and Julie was able to not only connect with her almost right after her passing, but give me the exact details surrounding her passing that I was able to confirm that this is what happened. And so I had a lot more closure after that. And it actually really helped me in my healing. Because I really like, I know she was only 5 months, but it hurt so bad this time around. I guess she was like the baby to my cat. So I was really attached to her, right? There was two kittens that they had, and we kept her. And then she passed, right? It was really hard.
For sure.
that
Yeah,
that
I'm
brings
so
up
sorry
another
for your
question.
loss.
That brings up another question I'd like to ask you, Julie. With your shamanic healing and all the healing that you do you find that a lot of times when you're dealing with people like Lara, who have had an animal pass and you're speaking to them, do you find that you end up doing a little bit of healing on their grief as well while you're doing that?
No, because generally the session is for the communication with the animal. If
Okay.
if they would want it, I could probably do like a mini session, but generally the animal communication is generally very healing in its own.
Yeah. So I was going to say, I would think, Lara, you were just healed just by knowing, that she was talking to the cat and
Yeah.
knowing that everything was okay. Yeah.
Um, I have another question, but I don't know if you guys have another one about animal communication. This is going into something else that I know that Julie has helped me with and that she does. I know I go to Julie for a lot. She's so helpful. Um, Past life. So you have helped me get deeper into a memory that I had had that I never knew where this memory came from, right? We had talked about this. I think I reached out to the whole group about it. There was this memory that I had had all my life and I couldn't figure out. But once me and Julie did a session on this past life, it stopped coming up. It's gone. So it's whatever we needed as we worked through in our session, and it was amazing.
I think that was the dream interpretation session.
Oh, okay. Can you tell me about that for the listeners?
Um, Basically, I help you interpret your own dreams because you have your own set of symbols that spirit communicates with you. And
Mm,
so what we do is you get three objects and something that stands out in the dream, say, you're dreaming about a house. So you can say, okay, the house is one object, the lamppost outside is another object, and then something else that stands out to you. And then basically you put that essence of that, whatever that is, into this object. And then whenever you pick up that object, you are taking on that essence. And so you're channeling information from your subconscious. Um, and it's very enlightening. It's very powerful. Now, the past life um, readings that I do is I have two decks of oracle cards for past lives, and I pull three cards from one deck and then three cards from another deck that kind of supplements. and I pull 3 past lives, and then I take each set into meditation and come up with a story. And normally there's something that it's 3 past lives that are affecting you in this life. And so there's always something. There's possibly like financial lack, or something with love. And so I go in afterwards and cut those cords to those past lives so they are no longer affecting you in this life.
Where
Really
did you
cool.
learn to do all that? Was that in your
Well,
courses that you?
well, the dream interpretation is a shamanic healing technique.
Okay.
And the past life readings, those are just psychic readings, but the healing part is shamanic.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you that Julie helped me with some dream interpretation about a month or so ago, and it really brought up an issue that kind of was like I had no idea that that was something that could be a bad thing. It was something that I had been pining on for years, just thinking, hey, this is not a bad thing. And when she brought it up, I'm like, oh crap, maybe that is a bad thing. So again, she brought it up, I recognized it, and it hasn't come up again. So I think that the work you do, Julie, is really it's amazing. And it speaks deeper, I think, to the kind of relationships that we've built as psychics and mediums and animal communicators with each other, and that we know that we could reach out to Julie and say, can you help me with this? And she'd be absolutely, in a heartbeat. She would, and she knows the same thing about us as well. Something that I would like to mention is that Julie is a fantastic teacher as well, and you have started teaching animal communication. Is that correct? I just wanted to let people know out there so that if they're interested in learning, that they can contact you and get into some of your classes.
Yes, I do a beginning animal communication workshop. My last one was this past weekend. It's generally 2 to 3 hours on Saturday and Sunday. The second day, we do a lot of practicing, but it's basically a brain dump of everything I've learned. And everyone has come away being able to communicate with animals. It's basically helping you to remember, because we all have the ability to communicate with animals. Most of us shut it off when we're little. So it's just a remembrance, because we all can communicate with animals. So I'm just helping people remember that, yes, they can do this. And part of it is you don't trust yourselves when you first begin. And sometimes it's harder to connect with your own animals because your energy fields are so overlapped. Sometimes it's hard to say, oh, was that from him or her, or was that my thought? And so I help you kind of differentiate between the two. And then I'm also teaching a animal chakra class. I go through all the 9 major animal chakras and also teach you how you can help clear those.
Ooh, I want to take this.
Very
When is
cool.
that? I want
Huh?
to join this. When is that chakra class?
I haven't planned it yet. I did teach one session of it, I guess a couple of months ago, but I'm planning on redoing it after the first of the year.
Yeah.
Everyone's so busy now, they probably wouldn't take it anyway because, but yeah, I am planning on redoing it. And in fact, I'm planning on doing a bigger one with all the healing that I do.
I
So,
also know that you host and offer a psychic circle, psychic development circle for people. Would you like to talk about that a little bit in case we have followers, listeners that want to join that as well?
well, the Psychic Development Circle, I've been doing it the first Sunday every month. And we talk about things like discernment. I've talked about the different clairs before. I do it on Zoom so that once we get to the point where we're able to do breakout sessions and people can read for each other. I want to be able to do that. So just kind of seeing where it's going to go, seeing if
Do you
it's
have
going to.
do you have a website that lists all of this, or would they find it on your Facebook page, or where could we direct people to get in contact with you if they'd like to book a service or a class?
Well, I've actually got 2 websites and a Facebook business page. My 2 websites are juliejeanbassett.com for the animal communication piece and Whitetail Shamanic Healing for the shamanic healing piece. But my Facebook business page is the one that lists all my classes, and it's facebook.com/J Bassett Animal Communicator. And I also post in several groups where I'm approved reader when I'm offering classes and things like that.
And just to remind our listeners, I will post the links to those in the description of the video of the podcast. We do that so people can find you because I think you're amazing. I think the work that you do is amazing. You've helped me in so many ways. I know you've helped a lot of other people, and I would love to get more people to you to utilize your special skills because, and let me tell you, it's not just about her animal communication. It's not just about her shamanic abilities. It is about her caring and love that she puts into each session that she does, that you walk away feeling important, and there are not a lot of people that do our work that can do that. So thank you for that, Julie. And I want other people to be able to experience that just the way we have.
You're going to make me cry.
Well, I didn't mean that for sure, but
He is sweet with his words.
but it is absolutely true. There are so many people that we have to look at that we can look towards as mentors or teachers, and I think you check that box for a lot of people. You may not realize it, but I think more people look up to you than you realize, and I just want you to know that. I know I do. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Thank you.
That's really all the questions I have. I know I've talked my mouth off, but do you guys have any more questions for Miss Julie?
No, I feel like you answered so much. We got, in depth with, animal communication and learned a little bit about you and your other areas. And I think that you were a wonderful guest. So thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
All
Thank
right, I
you,
guess
Julie.
that about wraps us up for today. Yeah, look to the description to find out more about Julie if you want to connect with her. We'll be back. I think we're going to be taking a couple weeks off now, right?
No, we've
Is that
got
what we're-
one more next week,
Oh, one
I
more
think, and then
session.
a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And next week's going to be great because it's going to be unfiltered. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I was
Like
just
our other ones have been filtered. Oh my God. Okay.
Have some
I think
eggnog.
we've been pretty unhinged in most episodes.
Yeah. You know what? I think you're pretty right about that. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank